Alright, let's do this. Final showdown, indeed. Indeed. So many times I have thought that this would be all over. But maybe now, maybe now, maybe now. Now then! Will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? This is gonna be interesting. Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. Tell the truth. You already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Yay. Dumb. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Let's do this. Gant and the Fabrication, Part 1. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory, right? I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Right. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. Oh, wait till I get my hands on this testimony. Ooh. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. Yeah. I know my own sister. She's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, there's no time to start second guessing myself. Indeed. Boom. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I guess we're gonna go with the good old pressing then. Right. How many years? Right, senior detective, I was 24, that 5 years. The legendary partners. Right. Yeah, indeed. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. Right. Doom. But think about it, Miss Guy. You didn't murder Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And you fabricated evidence 2 years ago. You did so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense, yeah. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana! So that's why you fabricated evidence 2 years ago? Right. That's what you say. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes? No, you didn't. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from unfortunate accident. That's the that's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright. Ugh. But I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that's so, what happened to the murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh. That was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. Right. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. Yes. Doom. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. Right. You planted the tip of you Doom. But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edward. You always had a good head on your shoulders. What? My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask her for the sake of others. Oh, we got two options. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you move the body? We already kind of know the answer to the why did you move the body? You know, just to make Emma look not guilty. But why did you plant a knife? Come on now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure that out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon was found buried in his body. Would be all the proof we needed. Right. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound? Yes. Because I hated Dark for what he did. Well, let's press her here and then try to pretend something. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it, period. Looks like someone's on her periods. Oh! I mean, are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. It's right. Indeed. There's no way. I got to get Lana to talk more. If if she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Right. Which one was the thing with the... Was it here where I can... where I had the two options earlier? What if I select the other option? Right. Was it here then? Let's just speed this up. Let's go. Right. What? Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Right. Something like that. Nope. And moved. Oh, of course it was here. Right. Let's go. Just ended up wasting some time. Why did you move the body? When you showed up at the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found lying by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Alright, the reason why Miss Guy moved the body. Is this gonna replace the previous thing? The pieces of the jar. Okay. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Okay. Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that red jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already, of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happens. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. Indeed, I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Right. Completely alone. That's what you say. Okay, Emma thinks there is something. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plans. Huh. Right. It's still not complete, it's missing one horn, so to speak. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. What does this say? Should I just... Wait a minute. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case. Trial. I don't think we have to go with this yet. What if I present this jar here? Does it lead to anywhere? It does! Sweet! Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that's true, if that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified, and I quote, it's like in wrestling, the pieces of the jar that shattered during the events is better than my plan. That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecution must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Boom. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Well, he could have on one piece, but no, let's go with this. I'm cool. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll place together information to arrive at the truth. Doom. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Okay. Jar and the message in blood. Part 1, let's go. Right, you noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't the chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was a real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Okay. Let's try to get something out of this again. Start with pressing. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. True. It certainly looks feeble as a defense's case. Ka-ching! But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. Say that aloud. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate that what was written in the jar places? Normally I would have, but it was dark. You didn't have time to check it out, right? So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces on the ground and ground them to dust. Oh, well, that helps my case. Lana, you'd do that for me? Right. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking.